Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Zhafran Syafiq Putra Wahyudin, and today for my introduction to literature Midterm task, I have analyzed The Old Man and the Sea by Ernest Hemingway. In the world of English language teaching, literature is not only used for entertainment, but it can also become a meaningful tool for learning language, understanding culture, and developing critical thinking. Through literary works, students can learn vocabulary, grammar, emotions, and even social values in a more natural context. For this analysis, I chose The Old Man and the Sea, a famous novella published in 1952. The story tells about an old fisherman named Santiago who struggles to catch a giant marlin fish after many days without success. Even though the story seems simple, it contains deep meanings about perseverance, dignity, loneliness, and hope. Segment 1: The Theoretical Foundation. Among the three functions of literature, aesthetic, cultural, and social, I believe this text best serves the social function for English learners. The novella shows many human experiences that students can emotionally connect with. For example, Santiago experiences failure, exhaustion, isolation, and determination. Readers can understand how humans struggle against challenges in life and still try to maintain dignity. The relationship between Santiago and the boy, Manolin, is also very important. Even though Santiago is poor and unlucky, the boy still respects and cares for him. Their conversation show kindness, loyalty, and empathy. This social interaction helps students learn how emotions and relationships are expressed in English. For example, Santiago says, "Fish, I love you and respect you very much, but I will kill you dead before this day ends." This sentence reflects conflict, emotion, and determination at the same time. Students can discuss moral values and emotional expression through the language used in the story. Besides that, the novel also teaches perseverance. Santiago continues fighting even when he is physically weak and alone in the sea. This can inspire students personally while also helping them understand meaningful language in context. So overall, this literary work serves a strong social function because it allows English learners to explore human relationships, emotions, values, and struggles through authentic language. Segment 2: The Technical Dissection. Now I will analyze the intrinsic element of this fiction. In analyzing fiction, we do not only focus on the message of the story, but also on how literary elements work together to create meaningful experience for readers and language learners. First, plot structure. The plot of The Old Man and the Sea follows a clear narrative structure. Exposition. At the beginning, we are introduced to Santiago, an old fisherman who has not caught a fish for 84 days. People consider him unlucky, but Manolin still believes in him. Rising action. Santiago goes far into the sea alone and finally hooks a giant marlin. However, the fish is extremely strong and Santiago struggles for several days to catch it. Climax. The climax happens when Santiago successfully kills the marlin after a painful and exhausting battle. Falling action. On his way home, sharks attack the marlin and eat its flesh little by little. Santiago tries to protect the fish, but he cannot fully save it. Resolution. At the end, Santiago returns home exhausted with only the skeleton of the marlin left. Even though he loses the fish physically, he gains respect and proves his courage. This plot structure creates tension and emotional engagement, making readers curious about what will happen next. 2. Characterization. Protagonist Santiago. Santiago is the protagonist of the story. Hemingway describes him as old, poor, experienced, patient, and mentally strong. Even though he suffers many difficulties, he never gives up. One important quote says, "Man can be destroyed but not defeated." This quote reflects Santiago's personality and the central theme of perseverance. Santiago is also thoughtful and emotional. He respects nature and even speaks to the fish and birds while alone at sea. This makes his character feel human and realistic. Sporty character Manolin. Manolin is a loyal young boy who admires Santiago. He represents hope, friendship, and emotional support. Even when Santiago is considered unlucky, Manolin still helps him prepare fishing equipment and listen to his stories. Antagonist. There is no traditional human antagonist in the story. Instead, nature itself becomes the challenge. The giant marlin, the sea, and the sharks all act as forces that Santiago must struggle against. 3. Point of view. The novella uses a third-person point of view. The narrator describes Santiago's action, thoughts, and feelings from outside the story. However, readers can still deeply understand Santiago's emotions because the narration closely follows his mind. For example, readers can see Santiago's inner thoughts while he talks to himself during his fishing journey. This technique helps reader feel connected to his loneliness and determination. The third person point of view also helps students observe how English grammar is used naturally in narration, especially past tense verbs and third person singular forms. Segment 3, the ALT application. Now I will explain how these intrinsic elements can help students learn English, plot structure, and language learning. By analyzing the plot structure, students learn sequencing and storytelling language. For example, students can practice using transition words such as first, then, after that, and finally. Students can also improve their understanding of narrative tenses because the story mainly uses the simple past tense. Teachers can ask students to retell Santiago's journey in their own words. This activity improves speaking and writing skills while helping students organize ideas or logically. Uh, Characterization and vocabulary development. Characterization helps students learn descriptive vocabulary and emotional expressions. For example, students can describe Santiago as determined, brave, lonely, patient, and resilient. Students can also analyze feelings and motivations using adjectives and opinion expressions. A teacher may ask, "Why do you think Santiago never gives up?" This encourages critical thinking and speaking practice in English. The relationship between Santiago and Manolian can also help students practice language of empathy, friendship, and encouragement. Point of view and grammar practice. By studying the third person point of view, students practice grammar naturally. Because the story is narrated using the he, students repeatedly see examples of third person singular structures such as he said, he looked, he thought, he remembered. This helps learner understand the sentence patterns in meaningful context instead of memorizing grammar rules only. Students can also rewrite scenes from a first-person point of view to practice pronouns and perspective changes. For example, instead of he felt tired, students can write I felt tired. This activity improves both grammar awareness and creativity. So, in conclusion, The Old Man and the Sea is not only a literary masterpiece but also an effective resource for English language teaching. Through its social functions, students can learn values such as perseverance, empathy, and dignity. Through its intrinsic elements like plot, characterization, and point of view, students can improve vocabulary, grammar, critical thinking, speaking, and writing skills. Literature allows students to learn English in a meaningful and emotional way, not only as a language system, but also as a reflection of human experience. That is all from me. Thank you very much.